Rolling.
We're rolling.
We're rolling. All right.
We're going to talk about King Asa. This was Jehoshaphat's father. He was king of Judah, and he has to go up against the king of Israel. But anyway, we're going to pray, and then we'll get right on into this subject. It's about putting other things in place of Yahweh, depending on them instead of Yahweh. So.
2 Chronicles chapter 16 is what you read.
Exactly.
Yep.
Anybody in particular want to pray? Or?
I can do it.
Okay.
God, thank you for letting me be here with my brothers and spread the word of God through the internet with good intentions. Hopefully we don't end up getting lost in the monetization, and be with us. Amen.
All right.
Quick and easy.
This is Draven. This is the first time here on the
on the channel. First time on the channel.
So, Asa in the beginning was very, very close to Yahweh. He had kind of a revival going on there. Things were going bad for Judah. It says, in those times, well, let's see. Now for a long season, Israel had been without the true God, without a teaching priest, and without the law. Without the law and without a priest, you're in trouble, right, James? You agree, Damien?
Damien.
What's wrong with me? Draven. So they didn't have a teaching priest, didn't have the law. This is chapter 15, verse 4. But when they in their trouble did turn unto the Lord God of Israel, Yahweh, and sought him, he was found. So if you will search for the Lord with all your heart, you will find him. But you got to search for him with all your heart. You can't have all these other idols.
True that.
that you're depending on. It's got to be him. You got to fully trust in him. Okay, verse 5. In those times there was no peace to him that went out, nor to him that came in. But great, what's that word? Mine says,
Vexations.
Mine says vexations. Is that a good thing to have in your life?
No. Not at all, brother.
Vexations? And were upon all the inhabitants of the countries. This is without Yahweh. You're going to have vexations. Sure. People wonder why they have trouble in their families and all this chaos going on in the world, in the home, in the community. Well, they done left Yahweh out of everything. Mm-hmm. And nation was destroyed of nation, city of city, for God did what?
Vex.
Vex them with all what?
Adversity.
Adversity. Is that good stuff? No, that's bad, ain't it?
Very bad, by the way.
Vexed with adversity. I guess that's a hard way to have your life.
I'd imagine, yeah.
That's a hard life, it seems like to me. Verse 7, be ye strong therefore, and let not your hands be weak, for your work shall be rewarded. And when Asa heard these words and the prophecy of Oded the prophet, he took courage, put away the abominable idols out of all the land of Judah and Benjamin, and out of the cities which he had taken from Mount Ephraim, and renewed the altar of the Lord that was before the porch of the Lord. So he listened to this prophecy from Oded the prophet. If you go up to verse 1, it says the Spirit of God came upon Azariah, the son of Oded. And he went out to meet Asa and said to him, Hear ye me, Asa, and all Judah and Benjamin. The Lord is with you while you're with him if you seek him. So the Spirit of the Lord is moving this prophet to speak to the king, to make him aware he needs to come back to Yahweh. So these kings in the Bible, a succession of kings, in Israel in particular, they were all evil kings. But they had no excuse. Yahweh was always sending prophets to them to make them aware that they needed to reform and change.
Talk about not taking the hint.
Right, exactly. You see, he got it. But as you'll see, Asa, later on, a prophet comes to him, and what's he do with the prophet, James? Locks him up in prison.
Okay.
Later on in his reign, there was, the queen, or his grandmother, she had a Asherah pole set up, and he took this out and burned it up. If you really study the word, every king that tried to start a reform, the first thing he did was take care of all the idols. Got threw them into Kindred Valley, burned them up, or got them out of there. So if you want to have a revival in your city or your town or your community, the idols got to go. And today, we're going to bring up some of those idols so you can be aware of them, so you can get them out. They got to go. If you want a revival, unless you love adversity and vexation, you know, if that's what you want, I mean, you can have it.
I'm telling you, it's not good for you, though.
We did one video, have mine own way instead of have thine own. That's a song.
Yeah.
Have thine own way, which is the Lord. Have mine own way. That means you want your way. Instead of taking time to read the word, you might get on, what's some of them things that's on there to watch?
Pokemon,
What's
anime. I know you weeaboos are watching at home with your little waifu pillows.
It's a lot of stuff I don't know about, so.
I'm watching you.
So anyway, they entered into a covenant to seek the Lord. That's an agreement. Love being the motive. To the Lord God, all capital Lord, which means Yahweh or Jehovah, the Father, of their fathers with all their heart and all their soul. Whoever didn't seek the Lord, guess what they did to him?
Hit me with it.
They put him to death. So there's a lot of incentive to seek the Lord. So we're not going to suggest that here.
I hope not.
So they swear unto the Lord with a loud voice and with shouting and with trumpets and cornets. So musical instruments. They're giving praise to Yahweh. They're coming back again to Yahweh.
Yep.
And giving him the rightful place that he deserves because he's the Lord. King of kings and Lord of lords. And Judah rejoiced at the oath, for they had sworn with all their heart and sought him with their whole desire. Your whole heart. Your whole heart is the essence of your being. What motivates you to do everything you do? What you think about all the time. Your very essence. That's what he means by your heart. He was found by them, and the Lord gave them what? Rest roundabout.
Rest roundabout.
Is that better than vexation?
Definitely. I would rather sleep than be vexed.
You
honestly.
would, really? All right.
I mean, like,
Very good. How about you, James?
Sounds right.
You don't want to be vexed. Okay.
Been there.
Oh, really? So have I. And also concerning Machah, the mother of Asa the king, he removed her from being queen because she made an idol in the grove. Asa cut it down, her idol, stamped it, and burned it in the brook. Like, what's that mean? He jumped on top of it?
Yeah, just like stomp it out.
That's pretty.
Like how you would like stomp on a
Yeah,
spider.
I got you. That's right. You didn't want that at all there. Uh-oh. But the high places were not taken away out of Israel. Nevertheless, the heart of Asa was perfect all his days. So these high places were a continual hindrance to Israel and Judah. No matter what happened, when Solomon built the temple, a bunch of kings, they were still sacrificing in the high places. And they weren't sacrificing to Yahweh. They were sacrificing to idols, false gods, Baal, and whoever. And he brought into the house of God the things that his father had dedicated, that he himself saw. There was silver and gold and vessels that they won in wars that they had, battles they had that they won. They won the battles because Yahweh was with them. It wasn't because they had a league with another country to help them in the battles. It was because Yahweh was with them in the battles. Yep. Okay, the heading here is Asa forgets God. So as time goes on, it's like the 36th year of his reign. He's been there a pretty long time.
I would say so.
Now he's got a cushier lifestyle. Things are going good. There's no vexation. Everything's peaceful. Everything's nice. And usually when that happens, people start drifting away from Yahweh.
Yep.
Because things are going good. We don't need him as much now. Everything's going smooth. We're sleeping good. There's no mom and dad ain't fighting with each other. And everything's good now, But all of a sudden, now we don't need Yahweh as much now because things are going good.
Yep. We got to stay humble.
Exactly.
Humble.
That's the key.
Humanity is good. Sorry, go ahead.
Exactly what he said. If your things start going good, then it's because of me that everything's going good after a while. Mm-hmm. It's because I did this, but it was all along it was Yahweh. And you got to stay meek and humble and keep relying on him even when things are going well. You still stay close to him. You still yearn for him. Your heart cries out for him. So this Ben-Hadad, he goes into league with this king of Syria because, let's see, is it Baasha, the king of Israel, that he may depart from me. So Baasha, the king of Israel, is starting to take over some of these towns around Judah. Is that James? Is that what you?
Well, actually builds a town called Ramah between him and Jerusalem, Judah, to block the way so they can't trade and things. To set up his.
He wants to keep everything away from Judah and get all the trade. So then Asa, the king, took all Judah. Oh, okay. So he goes to Ben-Hadad, and he takes all the silver and the gold that he accumulated in the temple and pays him to leave league with Israel and join league with him. Before Ben-Hadad was supporting Israel, who was out to block the trade and out to vex Judah, pays him off instead of relying on Yahweh to help him. So, and it came to pass when Baasha heard it, he left off building Ramah and let the work cease. So when he found out about this league, he quit doing it. He quit building this city there. that was in between. Then Asa took all Judah, and they carried away the stones of Ramah and the timber, so they threw it all down. Okay, now Yahweh sends another prophet to Asa. His name is Hananiah, the seer, and said to him, because thou hast relied on the king of Syria and not relied on the Lord thy God, therefore is this host of the king of Syria escaped out of thine hand. So if he would have went to war against this king with the help of Yahweh, instead of paying him off, he would have wiped him out, and it would have never been a threat again. But instead, he doesn't rely on the Lord. He uses silver and gold to pay this guy to come out of league with Israel and join with him. So
sounds like what our government kind of does.
We're gonna get into that. Some people put trust in the government.
Yup.
Instead of Yahweh.
Yup.
That wouldn't happen in America.
Of course not. Of course not.
What about Mayfield? We better be quiet.
Hopefully the government doesn't see this video and does not take this as a threat. We're just a couple guys from Kentucky.
Were not the Ethiopians and the Lubans a huge host with very many chariots and horsemen? Yet because thou didst rely on Yahweh, he delivered them into your hand. This was before he relied on Yahweh, when he was younger, in the beginning. Now, he's relying on the silver and gold to pay off this king, to help him. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to do it double. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong in behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him. If your heart is perfect with Yahweh, he can bring you through any kind of obstacle or situation in your life.
Okay.
We want to talk about some things, okay, that we rely on here in the 20th century people.
Which century?
Or is it, which century is it?
20th century?
Here and now. Is
That's
what I'm
last
talking
year. Last century.
about. Okay.
21st.
James will make sure I keep on the track. But do we put our trust in the government?
Yeah.
James?
Sure we do. They take care of us.
What else we put trust in besides Yahweh?
I know you guys put your trust in that AI on Snapchat. I know you do. Sneaking out your tests.
Oh, really?
Cheesing out.
Oh, instead of doing the work
I
yourself?
know you've done it. I know you've done it.
Instead of doing the work yourself?
Or using Google. I know.
Can Google be a God or something that replaces God, replaces Yahweh?
Mm-mm.
They put their trust in the Google?
They can put their trust in the Google.
How about doctors?
Doctors too. They don't believe that Christ can, he does what he wants with you. He kind of just like, if he wants you to live with a certain ailment, he will. But if you do, that means you could use that ailment to relate to others and possibly bring more to God.
Healing for them, other people.
Yep. But
Or
if not so, sorry, go ahead.
Can he heal miraculously?
He can heal miraculously. Not the doctors, but
The great physician.
the great physician. Yes, the great physician.
So, but some people will put the doctors before Yahweh. They would go to the doctor first.
Because they'd rather believe in science, because that's what's founded, apparently.
How about prescription drugs?
That too. Some people use their prescription drugs a little too much. Get it spicy a little bit.
I saw a friend of mine in CVS. I was leaving, and he was coming in, and he has a serious disease, and I really can't remember exactly what it was, but he had a prescription medication he was using for that, and I think it was some minimal amount, $7 a month or something like that, and it went up to 400 or 700 or 1100 or something like that. It's
Big
just
pharma,
astronomical.
man. It's big pharma, man.
Yeah, see, once they know they get you hooked on it,
Yep.
they know you're relying on it, then they jack the price up because that's all they're in it for.
Someone else who taps into the government. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
But I'm kind of into herbs, so I know herbs that can help you get out of it, but the pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know about herbs.
Tell them about that crystal thing. The blood
that
crystal.
crystal, okay. I had a friend, he was a painter for many years, and it was back when they used oil-based paint a lot. And that oil-based, it can get through your skin, you breathe it, you know, the chemicals and everything. He was in really poor physical shape after doing this it was his life's profession. And he found out about this place in Baltimore where they would withdraw some blood, a small amount of blood, and they would make up this crystal just for you. And they would put a small amount of blood in the crystal, and they put it in the sunlight. And it would purify your blood, that small amount of blood. And I forget how much of time it took or whatever. But then you go back in, and they take that small amount of blood that was purified, put it back into your system, and it would purify your whole blood system. That little amount that was. And people were getting miraculously healed from all this. And the government came and shut them down.
Because it was dangerous. The UV radiation. That's probably what purified it to begin with. But guess what? Instead of using the sun to our advantage, we're going to let it bring in the world with a heat death. So
the pharmaceutical companies, they don't want people using herbs. Because herb, you can't patent an herb because it's natural.
Yep.
Pharmaceutical companies, once they have a patent on a chemical, they get all the, royalties, or I don't know what you call it. Profits from the prescriptions. So they will do all in their power to keep you from really getting well.
That's what it's all about.
They want you to
money,
stay.
man.
And when you do their drugs, there's side effects from those drugs, and then you got to do drugs to fix the side effects from
It's
that
a whole cycle.
Anyway,
It's a whole vicious cycle of just having a drug that needs another drug that needs another drug, and then you're just doing crack.
So we're really in trouble now. The government's oh boy. But anyway, so what else? Is there people that gets into Star Trek, Trekkies?
Yo.
Can that become like a god? Can that be?
Well, knowing the people on the internet, yes, they would worship Star Trek and Pokemon, certain Pokemons. Anyway, but they also want to worship their little anime girls and waifus too. I know you. I know.
I can't talk about that. I don't know a thing about it.
I know.
Science. That's part of pharmacy.
Yep.
People put their trust in science.
But their trust in education.
The world's a million years old. The crustacean man.
Darwinism.
Darwinian. What is it? They got a certain man went through certain.
Started off as some kind of goop in the freaking lake, and then we just started evolving from there.
then an ape.
And then an ape, and then slowly a Neanderthal, and then slowly
Neanderthal,
into a
that's
human.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Yahweh just created man the way he is now. In his image now.
It's about the only way it could happen.
Heck, we don't know. We're too young for that.
If he evolved from an ape, how come we still have apes? Uh-oh, I'm stepping on toes now.
Oh no.
What about education? Can that be some people relies on
Yep.
their education? Who are you telling me I'm a PhD? You telling me something?
For your information, I am an expert in bacteriology or whatever it's called. I know how bacteria works. It's not a bacteria, it's a virus.
Do people rely on drugs and alcohol?
Yeah.
What are they're trying to numb themselves? What exactly?
Numb their emotions and their feelings and all that.
They're trying to cover something in their life went wrong, and they're trying to cover it.
Yep, trying to cope with it, and it really just sends them into a downward spiral of self-destruction, really.
Right, so it's not the right way. Yahweh's the right way out of it. Cell phone.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be stepping on some toes real quick. We're gonna be stepping on some big toes.
Cell phone. How do people rely on their cell phone?
Almost everyone now.
For just about everything.
Just about everything, yeah. They rely.
Cell phone. Get on Facebook on their phone. And
Buy stuff on their phone.
Buy stuff on their phone.
Watch stuff on their phone.
They Google
like
on,
you probably are watching YouTube
Google
on
on their phone.
Yep.
Let's see, should I study the Bible about this subject, or will it be easier just to get on Google? What does Yahweh say about this? Well, we can get on Google. Corporations.
Yay. Here we are. Back to Big Pharma.
Ah,
Especially Apple. I know you guys are watching this on your iPhone 2057.
if they come out with a new iPhone, is that something you have to have? Or?
I mean, apparently, because, oh, what? You get one more camera. You get, like, a single new feature.
Oh, really? How much does one of them cost?
Good God. Freaking, you could end up spending, like, $2,000 on the thing.
Do people rely on their bank account? On silver and gold?
Credit card.
A necessary evil, apparently.
I know when I was working construction work, and I was getting jobs as they came in, and sometimes I didn't always have jobs, I was connecting more with Yahweh.
Yeah.
But when I got a job that was pretty much paid by the hour and it was consistent, I kind of slid away.
Yeah.
Backslid some. Because I knew I'd get a check every week.
Yeah.
So I didn't need him as close as before. That never happened to anybody beside me. So I was putting my trust in my job, I guess. How about religion and denomination? We're going to get into it now.
Or a lack of religion, for that matter, too.
How can people be putting their trust in their religion or denomination rather than Yahweh? How could that be so? How could that be possible?
I don't know, man. You tell me.
Jim's being awful quiet.
Antisocial, huh?
No, you guys make a good show. I'm just sitting back, staying out of it, and letting you two
I've heard
guys.
James talk about this subject a lot of times. It's very
No, you guys work good together, so I'm just kind of letting you go.
Oh, come on. Stop being antisocial.
Go
Join the
on.
party.
Go on, James. I know you want to speak out on this.
God.
You guys do good together.
Food, especially fast food.
Eating your Big Mac with your extra large fries and your.
Can you rely on that instead of? What else we got here?
Granted, food is a necessary thing for survival, but at the same time, you shouldn't be eating a Big Mac like every night.
I got my trust in Trump. How about you, James?
Oh yeah.
Totally, man. Totally. Not that it's totally not that I have no trust in the government at all.
So, politicians, common sense.
Common sense.
Can we put our trust in that instead of?
We could, but honestly, we could put a little bit of trust into common sense. I know a lot of you people need it. But at the same time, we can't forget about Yahweh and all that.
Well, how can I trust Yahweh? I've never seen him.
Well, I mean...
I can see Trump.
Well...
On the TV.
I mean, tell me this. What did he say before? If you didn't believe in God, you were put to death? Or you didn't turn to God, you were put to death?
Yeah, Tarnation's right. Yeah.
Tarnation!
So.
Gotcha there.